I join my brother, Professor Suruma, to congratulate our brother, who has come out with one of the most important books. I've not read it yet, I've just come through, but listening to Dr. Suruma, I am persuaded that it's dealing with a subject matter that has potential to liberate us as Africans. And I'll be making a submission shortly that one of the most vital areas of difficulty for us as Africans is in the area of mindset change. Let me give this subject a historical perspective. And I think it's essential that we do so that we fully understand the urgency there is to unlock our minds. The truth of the matter is that you and I as Africans are really in trouble. Deep trouble, deepest trouble that the human race can face. Did you know, for instance, that Africa has the majority of natural resources around planet Earth? That's why our brothers in Europe have actually promised that if anyone was to interfere with their control of our resources, they will go to war. That's what they have said in the Western world, that anyone who attempts to interfere with the control of resources, our resources, which are the backbone of economies of nations in the Western world. Anyone who interferes with the arrangement there is now, Europe and the Western world are ready to go to war. They have said it already. The truth of the matter, which is a sad one, is that Africa has natural resources no other continent has. Is it a coincidence or not? That may be a question we can discuss on another day, but the truth is that the rest of the world is dependent on resources that Africa has. If anyone was to take away, to deny the rest of the world resources Africa has, we've been promised a war. That is how vital and important it is that you and I do appreciate the positioning God really gave us, but which Africans in particular are not aware of. That we are in control of resources that economies around the world depend on. If we were to say no to these countries, they would go to war, and they are prepared for it. They're working day and night to make sure they control or they change. They don't see any change in the current imbalance that I will shortly be talking about. So it's important that we give this subject of unlocking the mind, changing the mindset. Now that means it's talking about changing our minds. But of course, the focus is very timid. It's shallow. It's not going to help us at all. Because having our mindset change is going to take more than a miracle. God's intervention basically. I also want to say that it's important we give this discussion about unlocking our minds, not only historical dimension, but we understand the ecology, the environment, the history of our existence as Africans. You may recall, those of you who have read the books, that there was a time that Africa was colonized. There was a time also when some of our brothers and sisters were shipped and taken away. That history you are familiar with. There was that time of occupation when colonialism became really the order of the day, and its intention was to decimate, destroy everything in its way, so that any emerging indigenous systems were killed by colonialism. And colonialism brought its systems, and those are the systems we've been struggling to get used to. And I want to suggest that we will never get used to something that is alien. It's not ours. But they came and disrupted our order, our systems, literally everything they found, they set aside and introduced their own systems. And today, we literally are not who we are. We are not who God intended us to be. What we are now is simply something else. A real African, a real black person is not the one we are seeing today. We're a makeup of all these interventions we've suffered over the years. It came with an ideology that promoted oppression. Oppression. Everything in its way, get off. It came with an ideology of exploitation. Our resources are what made Europe and other Western nations what they are today. And they are determined not to allow that to change. It's important that you appreciate that. And alongside oppression and exploitation was suppression. So that what you and I are today is not what we would be if this external interference had not visited us. And all this served to have a great impact on our minds. That's why I thought we should give this another historical dimension, so that we know where we are coming from, we know who we are, we know what we are facing. And when they were introducing their presence on the continent, they introduced another tactic of divide and rule. They made sure, and they continue to do so, that you and I don't realize that we are one people. They are continuing to invest a lot of their time, resources, ensuring that we never get to know that we are one people. And they succeeded. And today, we Africans, whom God intended we should be one people, are not one people. And I have termed that phrase of behavior as grasshopper mentality. These friends of ours who have introduced divide and rule, they make sure, you hear about regional integration, continental integration. They have made sure that we don't succeed in integrating successfully. Because they know if we do that, then we are going to be stronger, we're going to demand for equal rights, we're going to demand for more equitable access to our resources, and so they invest a lot in making sure Uganda doesn't sit well with Kenya, doesn't sit well with Rwanda, with DRC. That's invest a lot of resources in ensuring that Africans, how they get to know that it's essential to remember that they are one people. And as I've said, they have made it very clear that the regime of oppression exploitation, domination, suppression, which they started when colonialism came. That arrangement, no one interferes with it. Professor Zuma touched on another dimension of the oppression that we continue to suffer when he was talking about the type of education we have today. And the distortion we see concerning Christianity, and eventually the belief by some of our leaders that clearly there can be nothing good out of Africa. And so those who happen to become leaders are timid. They can't do what is in the interest of their people. They are more careful because they know that their positions can be undermined, because the West has done it before, removing leaders who they don't think are supporting their policies. And so they choose to play safe. We have that problem as well. We also have a problem, very ably explained. People who desire to go to Western Europe because somehow they have come to believe that those countries are everything like. The point here is that we are not free people. And that state of affairs is compounded by our own inability to remember that we are one people. We should work together. And so we are moving individuals who are not free. Literally everything we do has been borrowed, and we are not able to master what we are doing because it's not indigenous at all. And so, the tragedy of our situation is not only reflecting in the fact that resources God has given us, which were meant to benefit His creation in Africa, those resources are not ours. They are ours, yes, because they are here, but where in practice, they don't belong to us. I mentioned the determination by the Western world to say anyone who interferes with that inequality will be in trouble. And so some of our leaders have chosen to go around, play safe, and allow that hemorrhage, that stealing of our resources to continue as long as you are not fought